What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports. We are here on the Notre Dame channel at the voice of college football. Please, Notre Dame fans, help us out. Subscribe to the channel. Help us get to 1,000 subscribers. In this video, we are going to give you an early projected record for Notre Dame. This will not be an official prediction or anything like that. Simply a projection based on how tough the schedule is and how good we think each team is going to be this upcoming season. Here are the projections from 2021. This team was 11-1, a little bit better than the projections. We had projected them to go 10-2, going through and doing what we're about to do in just a few minutes. And our prediction was also 10-2. So I predicted this team to go 10-2 in 2021. The FBI had this team at 8.3 and 3.7. So they had them closer to 8-4. So, yeah, that is a crazy number. Only 8-4 for Notre Dame. I think going into the season, you knew right away that this team was not going to go 8-4. And I thought it was a pretty easy over-under. This team was going to go 9-3 or better. I think most people would have said that in the preseason. And part of why the projections were a little bit lower in this, and I don't want to take anything away from Notre Dame, but some of the opponents for Notre Dame wound up just not being as good as we thought. Like North Carolina was supposed to be a top 10, top 15 team. USC was supposed to be much improved. Those two teams were not very good. And overall, just the schedule did not turn out to be as tough as we thought in the preseason. But still, I had the team at 10-2, and the projection also was 10-2. So let's see what the projection is for 2022. Again, here is the schedule. This is the scale that we will be using. You got your 50-50 games. Those will be in the white, less than 20%. Those are games counted as losses. They'll be in the red. Over 80%, those will be in the green. Those will be counted as wins. And then we average out the rest, 20 to 29% in orange, 30 to 39% in yellow, 61 to 70% in purple, 71 to 80% in blue. And we're talking about these games, the 20 to 29% games, the 71 to 80% games. Those are games where we think it's going to be about a double-digit spread, 10 to 14 points, somewhere in there. And then your 30 to 39% games, your 61 to 70% games, that's where I think the spread is going to be about a touchdown, 6, 7, 8 points, somewhere in there. So the easy wins for Notre Dame, not necessarily all easy, but the games we think that they have a more than an 80% chance on. We have Marshall, we have Cal, Stanford, UNLV, at Syracuse, Navy, and Boston College. Now this is a very early look at this. Some of these teams could be better than we expect. You know, Cal lost a lot of close games last year. They could bounce back this year. Stanford, are they going to turn things around? Syracuse is on the road. Boston College will be a quality team. I was really back and forth on Boston College on putting them in the blue or in the green. The home field advantage ultimately is why I went with the green on this game. If the game was at Boston College, I'd have it in the blue. But I think it's right around 80%, about an 80% chance for Notre Dame to win that game. But Boston College could be a surprise team. So again, some of these percentages could obviously change once we get into the season. But I do feel pretty confident that Notre Dame will win these 7 games. And I actually did the math, and if you put BC in the blue, the projection would still be the same. So either way, you want to look at that game. I think that's the one game, though, that I had a hard time with. Maybe Cal. But that's games at home, and Notre Dame's just a much better team. So how about the games in the blue? I've got North Carolina here. They lose Sam Howell, but the game is on the road. It's a team that still has some talent. This is another tough one, so you could maybe even put this one in the green. But if you put this game in the green, that also would not change the projection. So, again, this is a very rough estimate. It's not a prediction. And when you average out these percentages, you can usually move a couple of games around, and it's not going to change much when you average everything out. So how about the 61 to 70% games? These are the games where I think Notre Dame is going to be favored by about a touchdown. I think you've got 2 of those. You've got BYU, which they will play that game in Las Vegas, and then you've got on the road at USC. So BYU should be pretty good this year. They have a lot coming back. The game is out west. But I still think Notre Dame will be favored in that game. Just overall, talent-wise, they should be the better team. USC's a wild card. I mean, we don't know. We have no idea what we're going to get from USC. If they're as bad as they have been recently, this could be a game that should be in the green. It could be a 50-50 game if USC turns out to turn things around. So very tough to project some of these teams. I'm just kind of going by where the teams finished last year. The game is on the road, so I think there's enough there to say that Notre Dame is not going to be a huge favorite in that game. but I do think they'll be about a touchdown favorite. And then they have one game where I think they're going to be a clear underdog. That's Ohio State. I think they'll be about a touchdown underdog in that game. First game of the season on the road. Ohio State is going to be a top 3 preseason team. Notre Dame would probably be a top 10 team, but again, playing that game on the road. If it was at Notre Dame or even on a neutral field, I'd probably have it in the 50-50 category. But playing at Ohio State, I think we can say that the Buckeyes will probably be about a 6 or 7 point favorite in that game. And then that leaves Clemson. Clemson is our 50-50 game on this schedule, a game that could go either way. So if they were to take care of business and win the games that they're going to be favored in, win a 50-50 game at home against Clemson, they could still lose to Ohio State and finish 11-1 and possibly make it into the college football playoff. But when you average all of this out, the way we do it is we do the 50-50 games as 50%. The games in purple are 65%, blue 75%. Ohio State's going to be considered 35%. You average those numbers out and you get a projection. So for Notre Dame, the projected record is 10-2. Same projection as 2021. Same thing I predicted in 2021. Again, if they beat Clemson and they lose to Ohio State, the odds would say between North Carolina, BYU, and USC, they're probably going to lose one of those games, although they will be favored in all 3 of those games. So if they take care of business, I think there's a great chance that Notre Dame could go 11-1. I think 12-0 is going to be tough, but the projection for them coming up in 2022 is 10-2. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What are your thoughts on Notre Dame? What do you think their projected record should be? Let me know down in the comments below.